Well, there you are again. Charlie Greer podcast. I do this every day. Today, so the best is yet to come. Of course, it is. Before we start, please like, share, subscribe. Uh, you want to support the channel? The information's in the description for Zelle. Let's do this. So, man, I'm looking extra haggard. Seems like I'm just getting more haggard. And yeah, the best is yet to come. Um, it's always like that. When you start out something, you gotta tough it out. Like say in the restaurant business. So if you go to get a loan from a bank, if you haven't done this yet, they suggest it. Like you need to pad that with about a year or two of like payroll and this, that, and the other, because it might be tough, you know. So in the beginning, anytime you do something in the beginning, yeah, it takes a while. Um, People think that it's just like, hey, I'm magic. Sometimes, and then sometimes that's people behind the scenes are helping them, so it won't last long. You'll see they're right off the bat successful for like, and then in a year they're gone. People don't. That's happened to me with everything. So the best is yet to come, people. For you too, for everybody. Um, it's always I don't know. That's just how life is. People have to accept you first before they. Some people don't want to see people succeed. See, they have the crab mentality. They just want to pull you back into the bucket. Look into the crab mentality. It's trippy. So, yeah, I mean, it just I can remember like my first real band, like Love Engineer. We're opening for bands on Monday night or whatever, and then you build and build, and then uh, I remember that we were starting to get build up a following and stuff, and other bands in town and other you start getting on people's radar. Well, they start making fun of you, and you suck, whatever. I'm fine, who cares? Um, and there was this one guy who would, uh, he was singing in a band, and I was a singer. I didn't. I had a girlfriend, so I was always home with her, or we'd go out and we had this like little circle of friends, or I'd be with the band. Like I wasn't this all over the place club dude. Um, so I'd miss out. People like, oh, dude, so talking, blah, blah, you need to set him. I was like, man, let him do. Let them do what they're gonna do. And I ignored it. I just went about my day. Then a little time goes by, um, and I was out flyering, like putting up flyers at the record stores. Back in the day, used to be a lot of record stores and music stores and this, that, and then everybody had like a little wall you could put your stuff up on. And there was already flyers for our gig that were pretty good. Matter of fact, they're probably better than the one that I'd made or the band had made. Like who had already flyered for us? Like, man, that's awesome. Um, a bunch. They'd spent some time and money. So on stage, whenever we had that gig, I was like, hey man, whoever like flyered for us with those flyers, thank you. Now it was a sea of people. It was probably 300, 400, maybe 700. I don't know, like a full club. And I just didn't know. So we're playing Mabel's, and this was in Champaign-Urbana. Mabel's is like probably my favorite club of all time. Kind of like they mothered us. They had a little backstage area back there. So after the gig, I went through, go to the backstage area, and of course they have us beer. They have us like cases of beer for us, and open the door, and sitting there is the dude who I knew had been talking shit and all this stuff, and he's sitting on our beer, and he's having a beer, like having one of our beers. So I thought like, oh, you motherfucker, like you got back here. I go, oh yeah, you're gonna be sitting there drinking our. I kind of went in on him. It's just after a gig, so I'm still sweaty. I'm excited. I'm pumped up too because people, oh, we love you. I was ready to, and he goes, oh no, 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 I'm the one that did the flyers. Did the flyers? Like I would have never thought. I thought it was, yeah, I'm a huge fan. I'm sorry, man. At first, competition. I thought, and then I saw him, I'm a biggest fan, and we became friends. We hung out that night laughing. He and I ended up being fishing buddies. We like, what should we do? Let's go fishing. We used to fish. Of course, I let his band open a ton of times for my band. Matter of fact, my band, we're like, dude, they've opened too many, just. Yeah, again, point to try to make, you never know. The best is yet to come. Even people that might be, will fall in line and be your biggest fans. That's why I don't react to certain things. I don't, I feel get a little bit more of a experience. I'm in my 50s. I survived, Pardon me. So you never know. The best is yet to come. We used to, when I had my producer, Niles, and I still do technically, but we were pitching my scripts, or he was. And, we had, he's a go-getter. So we had like storyboards and all kinds of stuff. And you would meet with production companies, and they're owned by like famous directors and stuff. And they have what's called a reader. And what they do is you meet with them and they read all the scripts and go through, and whatever's good, they'll give to the said, famous director or whoever, But you have to deal with these readers, and they see everything, man. They read. That's all they do. And I'm sure they don't even read. They just go, up, see, whatever. And then you give them a treatment. A treatment's like a one-page pitch. Like it's all like a couple paragraphs, what the movie's about. Then you give them a screenplay. Of course, they have to sign like a non-disclosure form and all that, I might have told this story, but we were sitting we're on Melrose at the Coffee Bean, right across from Johnny Rockets or whatever it was. And that's where we'd meet. There was a patio there, and it's all hipster, Melrose. Back then, anyway. So we had our little table we'd sit at. People knew us, we had met with people. And so this reader comes up, and she looks like a movie star. She's dressed on designer clothes. And she loves this, she's already got the treatment. She's getting the script, and we sit down and we, I'm thinking, man, this is great. And she was Oliver Stone's reader. Oliver Stone's a big director. He did JFK. He's done a bunch of Platoon. He wrote Scarface. He's one of my favorites. So I was like excited, like Oliver Stone might like my, and so the meeting's out, okay, we'll meet again next week. We'll meet, and so here comes the next week, and we're all excited. Sit down. She shows up. She's a totally different person. Her face looks different because she's angry. Yeah, you're wasting my time. There's too much violence in this. There's no redeeming qualities up that. What? What? Off. Throws our script down, and she's written all over it. She'd done her bills on the back of the back page of she'd done all her bills and all this. Just like you can't use it again. And those are expensive. A script, you gotta come on. So we're like, what just happened? She loved it. What did you, man? Whatever. Let's not look into it. We got another meeting, in a week or what? Because we're doing them like weekly, sometimes 2 times a week. Again, Niles was a go-getter. He knew everybody. So maybe a week or 2, we're sitting down with someone else who's like another reader for a big production company, whatever it is. And I see this woman from the reader from Oliver Stone's production company coming. Like to my right, I'm like, oh, here, shit, she's going to sabotage, She looks a little disheveled. She looks like she's, and of course, I'm going to ignore her. I'm going to do the LA thing where I don't even know who you are. Who are you? And so comes up, interrupts us, gets right at the table, and literally gets down on her knees, and she's like, please give me a job. Not like, give you a job? And we're pitching, and the person we're pitching to, some, who is it, Yeah, please give me a job. What? And And we're like, well, you hated the script. You just ripped it. You ripped our heads off. You scolded us. And she said, I'm so sorry. I got fired. Oliver Stone fired me for whatever reason. She'd been angry that week. Well, please help me. And I had to explain to her in front of another, look, I'm not in the position to give you a job. Like we haven't even optioned the script yet. And we're like, and matter of fact, you need to mosey on because we're in the middle of a meeting. And then the person's like, yeah, you're wasting my time, their time. You need to walk away because it's a small world here. You don't want me to be telling her. And she's gone. What I'm trying to make is you never know. The best is yet to come. You think all this, oh, this, that, people are, no, it's all good. All good. I don't dwell on these things. And then you have to keep up with them. Like, why was I angry? None of that, man. I'm not that, no. I never did see her again. Okay. And we got to pitch to A Band Apart, which is Quentin Tarantino's people, like in the room there, signing, confidentiality. And he told us secrets that people don't know about certain things he'd written for. And they gave me some, not tough love, but they accepted the script. They didn't option it, but they accepted it. So you have to sign paperwork for that. And then they like, look, we're going to take you to our, this room where they keep their scripts they're interested in. And they open the door and there's so many scripts. There's shelves that are bent because of the weight of the script. Papers. There's this scripts. It looks like the end of like Raiders of the Lost Ark, where that guy's pushing that box in an endless warehouse of boxes. Scripts everywhere, and they literally just take it and like throw it on a pile of scripts. Like, yeah, that's what we're interested in. So don't get your hopes up. But we like it, but we might not ever look at it again. Huh? And they didn't. We never. They loved it though. They claimed, why would we even invite us in there? This is on 3rd Street in like Beverly Hills, and you can't. There's security, and you can't just mosey on into the Band Apart, which is owned by Lawrence Bender and Quentin Tarantino at the time. That was their production company. Quentin's cool. Niles ran into Quentin years later at the Hollywood Bowl, because at the time Niles was like managing the stage at Hollywood Bowl or some union gig he had. And Quentin, there's these private booths and Quentin was there by himself watching. There's going to be a concert, whatever, dinner. You can get dinner and booze. And he went up to him. He's like, hey. And Quentin remembered, what's Charlie? He remembered my name. I was like, what? See? You just don't know. Again, I make an impression on people. So there's Niles. It's mostly Niles because he's a go-getter, man. He'll get you in, at least a pitch. And he knew everybody. Everybody loved him. Everybody loved me. And combined, they loved us all. So yeah, the best is yet to come. If you're out there and you got to start somewhere. You got to hang tight. Don't be too don't be too needy. Like, don't wake up one morning and just be like, get on the wrong side of the bed and be all insecure and start making phone calls. And no, you gotta cool, calm, collective, know in your mind what you're gonna do. And then remember the small accomplishments you did. That's the thing with me. I like these little small accomplishments that make the pyramid. People forget about the lower stones on the pyramid. Without that, you ain't gonna have that's how you have to look at life. That's how you have to, your faith and happiness comes from within. It's and your talent too, and your this and that and the other thing, whatever makes you happy. And because I was forgetting, I was so busy in promotion mode trying to sell or option, I wasn't doing my creative stuff as far as like writing and stuff I would do. So I was like, whoa, I'm getting down the wrong track here. I got to go back and be like me. Yeah, I could still do this, but then I was losing myself with like parties and girls. No. pull back, go spend some time with my dog, pull out my notebooks. In my word processor, I didn't have a computer back then. I mean, I'd had a computer, but I didn't take it to LA. Computers used to be huge, with the monitors and the towers. And then we did have I was also in a band. This is another thing. While I'm doing this, I was also in La Mata. My band was Sean from the Asexuals. So I was busy, man. There wasn't a day that I was just get up by 10 or 11. I'd shower, whatever, go do something and come back at night. I'd run in and grab my dog and walk her or take her, or take her with me sometimes. Like, what do you do? We got a dog. I'm like, I mean, yeah. And her name's Possum. Possum, my dog named Possum. And I love Possum. They'd actually be like, bring her more. At first, they're like, don't bring a dog in here. And within 20 minutes, they're like, always bring her. People love Possum. She was just so cool. Fearless and funny. And, dogs can be funny and sweet and be yourself. And that kind of like, he brought a dog named Possum. Well, that's the lore. That becomes legend of how confident you have to be to bring a dog named Possum. Well, pretty confident. I mean, sounds stupid, but it's what I wanted to do. Sometimes it's what I had to do. So you just do it, like work with it. Like I've talked about how bad I'm in this apartment. The walls are all cracked and spackled over it. I made it a character in my podcast. Use what you have. I'm not trying to be, oh, look at me. I'm going to have a green screen. Can you imagine if I had a green screen and dyed my hair and all? No, collared shirts or something. Shit. I wouldn't feel comfortable. I wouldn't be able to riff like I'm doing now. And I wouldn't be able to talk about what I want to talk about. Because there's things that I know that I could do to technically get me more like subscribers or more views. And that's just not. That's not what I want to do. So it might take longer, and I have a life to live and a job and all that, and a dog, another dog, PJ, Possum Jr. Man, that's how I am. Stick to what you know. Of course, you need to change here and there, and like, you grow and but the best is yet to come. It always will be. You're never, the only constants is change. Now, granted, I just said you got to stay the same. Well, I mean, you got to things change. And I know it because every day I'm doing a podcast, and every day I have to think of something that's like kind of interesting, witty, clever, you try every day, but I like it. It's fun. It's what I want to do. So it's not that I can't dwell on. Sometimes if I sit there and go like, what should I? Yeah, it's just, come on, man, get in there and riff. Just get in there like a blues musician. Just improvise. It will get better. I'm getting better equipment. I got my Zelle set up, so it's like, hey. And every day more people are seeing my podcast. And again, I'm doing it for therapeutic reasons. It's therapy to me to do it my how I do it, my format, meaning sitting in front of a laptop and ranting. I plan to do, and I plan to like go out and do more things and film things that are interesting. And, I do the cooking with Scotty Beers, and we do more of that. We're going to do a cooking with Scotty Beers on Saturday, but I had to work and it's cold here. And it's just like, and he made a beer battered chicken fingers. And then Mama Beers made just the best macaroni and cheese you've ever had in your life. It was just like, damn, awesome. And we had a great time hanging out that night. We were laughing. Scotty used to live in Echo Park with me when I lived in a bad area. And, the experience, at least he got to see old Hollywood before it changed, and, but it was in Echo Park, which now is kind of, we were, we'll do a podcast about that. Him and I need to be telling these stories. And I know he wants to too, you know. But we laughed, and even though it was dangerous and it was kind of, we were, you know, uh, I was living off like my creative stuff. And while he was out there, he would do cartage or roadie work for like, moving stuff in the studios and helping band, So we were, you make 150 a day. They ripped us off. He's owed money, so am I. The last time that he did it, I was like, man, he goes, why are you going to do it? I was like, bro, this guy's going to rip us off. He's ripped me off. He owes me money. Well, man, I want to go see so-and-so studio because it was a famous person's, and I get it, Scott, but I'd been through, and of course, Scott went and they worked him the hardest, and then they stole his money. They didn't pay him. He's owed money. Best is yet to come. I'll always believe that. I'll always have that in the back of my mind. Again, when you start something, sometimes you kind of stumble a bit, like, oh. And then, you got to enjoy the process too. If you haven't done certain things, yeah, there's going to be some uncertainties. Should I, what? That's normal too. It's not what happens to you, it's how you deal with it. People forget that. Don't react to everything. It's easy to go down that road, and don't overreact, meaning something happened and then you just drag everything down. We're all guilty of that. We can all do that. And if you do start going down that road, stop yourself before you pull it all. You gotta like, hey, whoa, like, hit the brakes. It's easier to do that. That's another thing. It's easier to just react and it's harder to keep your cool and be like, okay, fine. Sustainability too. Sustain what you have. You want to go up. Remember, everything that goes up must come down, man. You'd rather have a steady line then it goes up a little bit and sustain it. Then, you might dip, like with my Bitcoin. Dear Lord, I haven't so up, down, shit. I just leave it. I don't even think about it. With my silver, I invested in some silver years back, and I did pretty good because at the time silver was down to I think it was like $10 an ounce. I was trying to tell everybody I knew, like, dude, you got to buy some silver. Oh, silver? Yeah, you can get an ounce bar for $10. That's what it costs to go to McDonald's, man. And then, things happened, and I had to unload the silver. But I made I 4 times my money, 5 times, whatever it was. Because people weren't eating silver; they're paying more than. I don't think 4 or 5 times. Anyway, I made money. And I literally took it to the close. He was a jeweler. I didn't even take it. Just like, are you buying silver? I need. I want. Okay, I'll be right back. It's funny because I started using this guy because the strange thing is about LA, you just walk and stumble upon things. There's so much stuff that's like in the alley or just walking around I can't name how many times I went to the grocery store, parked in the parking lot, walk in and look down, and there's like a little gold ring with a diamond on it. So like, what? That's gold. Like, that's 14 karat, 24 karat, whatever. Take it in and sell it. Where'd you get this? I'm like, you're not gonna believe this, but I found it. Really? Yeah, I found gold necklaces. I found everything, in the park, in parking, mostly parking lots. And you would think, oh, be honest and go up to the cash register and ask to turn it into the lost and found. For one, there ain't no lost and found in LA. You found it, it's yours. 2, the cash registers are so busy. You could stand there for 10 minutes, be like, get out of my face. You're not gonna, let me talk to a manager. They're not gonna do that. This sounds crazy. My last job when I was on the microphone, I was a carnival barker basically in Hollywood. The store didn't have a phone. You couldn't call the store. Excuse, no. We all used our cell phones. We didn't even have a bathroom, which is against the law. The building was nice, but didn't have a bathroom. Why? I have no idea. We had to use Madame Tussauds' bathroom. And they were always rude about it. And we stayed up until midnight, 1 o'clock. They closed at like 8 or 9 o'clock. So after that, you're on your own. So I cut a deal across the street with the Roosevelt Hotel. But the security people like, yo, man, you know how I am. You see me that, right? At night, can I come in here and use the bathroom? Yeah, man, it's cool. Then for some reason, they switched the security and they got even meaner and they wouldn't let me do it. Sometimes they would, but then I had to use the mall, which is the open air mall on Hollywood Boulevard, like there. And then you have to walk back. And they started closing theirs because of whatever. LA's a little different. I went to this employment agency around here and I put my information down and then it got, well, we're having problems contacting yeah, it's LA. People don't like to give references. They're too busy. They're not, it isn't this small town like you guys are used to. There's not even a phone you can call. Well, that seems suspicious. Well, what am I supposed to tell you? It does look, I get it, but it's like, that's what it is. Huh? Again, the best is yet to come. You got to deal with certain things, I've lived an artist life. I live an artist life. So I'm not one of these jobbers who, that's fine. That's good. But I'm an artist. It's just a little different. Some of the things that I've done, it's hard to explain on a resume. Like, well, you're in bands. Can I call up the club? The club ain't open anymore. Come on, huh? What references and all this shit? One thing I'm going to miss about LA, as dangerous as it is and all this other crazy shit, people, they learn to read you. So they've heard so much bullshit. They look at you in the eye and they're like, okay, speak. That, hired. You to start right now? Like, that's what it is, man. You start right, bam, go. Within 2 weeks, you feel like you've been there for a year and people come and go every day. There's people quitting and they're getting hired and it's different. The guy's the top salesperson. Now he's the low. It's what it is. And I always stayed away from, I didn't fraternize. We're going to eat pizza and beer, not me. What are you going to do? Well, I'd rather not say. And honest, I'm just going to get home. I live like an hour away. Actually, it was only like about 20 minutes, but LA, it's traffic and I at the end there, I didn't want to live in Hollywood. At first, when you're young, in my 20s, Hollywood proper, right there. You're in the all that. That was awesome. I love it. Some of the best times of my life. I wish I could go back and do it again, but at the end, I wanted to it'd be close enough to LA to get in to do an audition or whatever, have your job, whatever it was, meetings. But man, you want to get out of that. You want to, hey, I just want to have a sustainability, a stable life instead of an apartment building with all these people and people pull the fire alarm for no reason and think it's funny, and another thing, I always lived on my own, basically. Like I had my own house or this and that, the other. A lot of people shack up, find a girl or whoever. They're paying all the bills and they're sleeping all day. I never did that. My producer, Niles, same way. Always had his own, we always had our own thing. We accomplished more. And everybody's always asking us, how do you guys do it? Well, guess what? We get up and do it, man. We hoe the road. We're like farmers. We're just up there every day. We're out there, That's what we do. We don't know any other way, And of course, I've always, all my friends, they get in a fight, or they're sleeping on my floor or couch or living with me for a while or something. Shit. I couch surfed. When you're out there, you might have to. When I first went to LA, the first week, I'd sleep on the couch until I got my apartment or house, I should say. We had a house. But look, the best is yet to come. Keep that in the back of your mind. There's certain things you shouldn't budge an inch on. Don't an inch. I'm talking about like an inch. No. Some things you got to have a wiggle room. Again, the only constant is change, On certain things, you gotta keep that in mind. And again, please like, share, subscribe. If you want to support the channel, the information's in the description for Zelle. I got it set up, and you know, I'll be getting support, and I'm going to be getting better equipment and better lighting and all this other stuff out and about. That's yet to come. I do this every day, so tomorrow, guess what? I'm going to be back, right? Like a madman. But I love y'all. Be blessed. Cheers.